My name's Joella with UMBC Rec. We're going to do about a 50-minute yoga practice today. The only prop you're going to need is a yoga block if you have one. If you don't, I'll walk you through what you can do instead. And you can also use like a tissue box or a large book, anything that will like bring the floor a little closer to you. So even like a little step stool, anything like that. So go ahead and just sit it off to the side. And we're going to start on our backs. Just a reminder before we get started, please make sure that you're listening to your body and that you've checked with a healthcare provider before starting a new exercise routine. So go ahead, lay down, find a nice comfortable position. If it feels okay on your low back, your legs can be extended, or you can bend your knees, plant your feet flat to the floor. Bring your feet about max distance apart and then knees together. But just find a spot where you can relax for a moment, let your body feel heavy, and just notice how you feel this morning or today. Notice how your breath feels in your body. Notice anywhere that's maybe tight or sore. Or maybe you feel really energized today and excited about your practice. On your next inhale, begin to deepen your breath, really filling up your lungs, and then exhale, sigh it out your mouth. Inhale, nice deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. One more time like this, nice deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Now beginning to breathe just in and out your nose. This helps warm the breath, warming our bodies. It's a nice natural filtration system for our breath. Again, nice deep inhale. And exhale, really getting out all the air that gets trapped down in your lungs. This time breathing in through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, in 5, 4, 3, 2, out 5, 4, 3, 2, in 5, 4, 3, 2, out 5, 4, 3, 2, in 5, 4, 3, 2, out 5, 4, 3, 2, and breathe naturally. And now notice how this feels. Maybe your breath feels a little deeper, maybe it feels exactly the same. Then on your next inhale, tuck your knees into your chest and just gently rock from side to side. Keep your right knee hugged in and extend your left leg down the mat for Ekapada Apanasana. Flex that left foot and think of pressing your left thigh down towards the floor, engaging that leg as if you were standing on it. Exhale here, inhale your left knee into your chest. And then exhale your right leg down your mat. Again, pressing that right thigh down towards the floor, toes and knee pointing up towards the ceiling, outer hips hugging in. One more breath here. Inhale both knees into your chest. Really squeeze your knees in for a moment, maybe lifting your head up, making a little ball, and then putting your feet back down to the floor, head back down. Feet hips distance apart and parallel to each other, so your heel's right behind your second toe, and see if you can feel that in your body without looking at it. We're going to exhale here and inhale, pressing through your feet, lifting your hips up towards the sky, pressing your outer upper arms down into the floor, and then exhale, lowering your hips back down. Setu Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Inhaling, lifting your hips up, just flowing through a nice dynamic movement. And exhale, hips lowering back down. Inhale, lengthening your tailbone towards the back of your knees, lifting your front hip points up towards your low ribs, inner thighs wrapping down towards the floor. Exhale, lowering down. 2 more times. Inhale, pressing your feet lift. And exhale, lower
last time, just warming up our hamstrings. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Go ahead, take your arms out to like goalposts or cactus, however you want to think about it. And then bring your legs up to like a tabletop position, so your knees are right over top of your hips, feet are flexed. And you're going to inhale here and exhale, allow your knees to drop over to the left, but nice and controlled. We're not allowing them to come all the way down to the floor, keeping our core engaged, keeping our shoulders on the floor. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale over to the right, again keeping your left shoulder on the floor, knees are right at hip height. Inhale, back up through the center, moving with your breath. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Last time each side. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. And exhale over to the right. Last time. Inhale, center. Go ahead, plant your feet down to the floor. If you have a block, go ahead and grab it. If you don't, that's totally fine. You can do it without. We're going to extend your right leg up to the towards the ceiling. So if you have that block, you're going to put it behind your hamstrings and hold on to the block. If you don't have a block, you're just going to interlace your hands behind your hamstrings. So here, rather than making this like a hamstring stretch and pulling our leg closer to us, we're going to press our leg into the block. So left leg is bent, foot flat to the floor. Pressing the back of that right leg into the block or into your hands. Breathing here. One more. And then go ahead, release the block, bringing your right foot down. Left leg extends, right foot is flat to the floor. Taking that block behind your left hamstrings, or maybe interlacing your fingers behind your leg. Breathing here, pressing the back of your left leg into that block or into your hands. Breathing here. One more breath, really engaging that left leg. Okay, release your block with your hands, sitting your left leg back down to the floor, and then hug your knees back into your chest. Maybe rocking from side to side. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. We're going to interlace our hands behind our head. Think of pulling your belly button down towards your spine as you lift your head, chest, shoulders up towards the ceiling. So you're not crunching it in and closing off your throat space, but pointing your nose up to the sky. Inhale here, exhale, right leg lowers about an inch off the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. One more each side. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. Hugging your knees into your chest. Gently rock from side to side. Then beginning to rock forward and back from shoulder to tailbone. And then coming up and over or swinging your legs around, but meeting in all fours. Wrists right under shoulders, knees under hips. Heels are right back from your knees. Spine is neutral here. Press down into your hands, maybe a little more into your thumb and your forefinger, and think of your tricep, your outer upper arm, wrapping in. Inhale, belly button drops, collarbone broadens, tailbone lifts up to the sky for cow pose. Then exhale, press into your hands, wrapping your outer upper arms in, lengthening your tailbone towards the back of your knees, rounding your back into cat. Flowing with your breath here, inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale cow. Last time. Exhale cat. Inhale back to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes under, press through your hands and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Keeping a little bend in your knees here so you can find length through your spine. Pressing down into your hands, still shoulder distance apart, maybe slightly wider as your triceps wrap in. Broadening across your collarbone. Shoulder blades gently pressing forward into your rib cage. Lifting your tailbone, your sits bones up to where the wall and ceiling meet behind you. Feet are hips distance apart. Heels lifted right above your second toes. Knees a little bent. Breathing here. One more breath. The bottom of your exhale, look towards your hands and inhale forward into plank pose. You might have to adjust a little bit. I always have to walk my hands out. Spine is long here, so you're one long line from the crown of your head down to your heels, broadening across your collarbone, looking forward slightly. Lift your right leg off the floor about an inch, maybe two. Exhale, lower it back down. Inhale, left leg lifts. You can always be on your knees here. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hinge forward so your shoulders come over your fingertips. Thinking of keeping your triceps wrapping in. We're gonna exhale, lower down all the way for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. Uncurl your toes. Make sure that your wrists are right underneath of your elbows. And inhale, chest, shoulders, head lift for baby cobra. So your low ribs are staying on the floor here. Thinking of the tops of your feet pressing down. Hi, Artemis. Tailbone lengthening towards the back of your knees. Thighs pressing up into your thigh bones. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, cobra, maybe coming up a little higher this time. Still really lifting your front hip points up towards your low ribs so we're not overarching in our low back. Collarbone broadens, sternum moving forward between our arms. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Same action of your thighs lifting up and tailbone lengthening back. We're going to exhale here and inhale up to upward facing dog on the balls of our feet. Breathing here, outer upper arms still wrapping in. Pressing down into your hands. One more breath. Really lifting your front hip points towards your low ribs, coming up back into plank pose. Breathing here. Inhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. One more breath. The bottom of your exhale, walking your hands back to meet your feet. So you're in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Knees can bend here. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Think of all four sides of your torso reaching forward, reaching out of the crown of your head away from your sits bones. Weight comes a little more forward into the balls of your feet. Exhale, lower down. 2 more times, moving with your breath. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Inhale, arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, right back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, walking your hands out, plank. Inhale, hold. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. Upward facing dog traditionally is done on the tops of your feet. You can stay on the balls if that feels better. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here, 3 breaths. bottom of your next exhale, look towards your hands, walk step, maybe float your feet up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, right back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. 3 breaths. The sequence is called Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. The bottom of your exhale, look towards your hands. Walk, step, or float your feet up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga, step or float back, landing with bent arms if you float. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Pausing here. Resting into your hands, making space through your spine. Inhale, your right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. So it's right up to hip height, not coming up any higher, so that our hips stay pointing down towards the floor. Outer hips hugging in. Imagine that you're squeezing your inner thighs together. One more breath here. On your exhale, look forward and step that right foot forward between your hands. You can always place your left knee down to help you get it up there. We're going to heel toe that right foot over to the midline, spinning our left heel down and coming up into Virabhadrasana 2. That right knee right over top of your right ankle, pressing down to the outer edge of your left foot as that left thigh spins in. Tailbone lengthening down towards the floor, arms out to a T. Shoulders squares the long edge of your mat. You can gaze over your right fingertips if that feels okay on your neck. Breathing here. Lifting up from your rib cage. Inner right thigh coming up and over that right leg. Exhale here, inhale, left hand to left leg, reverse warrior, stretching through the right side of your body. And exhale, right hand reaching forward towards the right, placing your elbow down to that right knee, left hand comes up and over by our ear. So you're still thinking of that tricep wrapping in. So palms facing towards the floor, like you're closing off your armpit. Tailbone's now lengthened down towards that back heel. Whole left leg is still engaged. You can look up under your right arm. Go ahead, inhale, excuse me, that's your left arm. Inhale your left arm towards the sky and straighten your right hand down to the inside of that right foot. We're gonna press through the ball of our right foot, lifting up on that right quad, coming into Trikonasana triangle pose. Both sides of your torso reaching forward. You can again look up at that top hand if that feels good on your neck. One more breath. Lifting up on your quadriceps. Exhale, looking down towards your right foot. Inhale, warrior 2. Holding here. On your next inhale, straighten through that right leg, put your hands on your hips and square your feet, or parallel your feet rather, to each other into the short edges of your mat. So your feet should be approximately under where your wrists are. Hands are going to be on our hips. Think of lifting your quads up fiercely towards your hip points, lengthening your tailbone down towards your mat. We're going to inhale here, press down through our feet and hinge forward, really feeling your front hip points tilt forward so that the movement's coming from your hips and not your spine. Hands can reach down towards the floor or just wherever they land comfortably. Pressing down through our feet, engaging our legs. Weight comes a little more forward into the balls of your feet so that your outer hip is over top of your heels and really squeezing in your side hips. One more breath here. Let's put our hands back up to our hips and then point your elbows towards the ceiling. And then squeezing, still lifting on your quadriceps, coming back up to stand. From here, we're going to externally rotate our left leg, internally rotate our left leg, coming into warrior two towards the left. So you're still pressing down to the outer edge of that right foot as that inner right thigh wraps in, pressing down through the heel of your left leg, inner left thigh wraps up and over. Shoulders squared to the long edge of your mat, arms out to a T, easing over that left fingertip. Breathing here. Right hand to right leg, inhale, left hand reaches up towards the sky. Exhale here, inhale, back up to warrior two, reaching your left hand towards the left, elbow comes to that left leg, right hand reaches up and over. So your bicep is right by your ear, tricep wrapping in, thinking of closing off that armpit. Lengthen your tailbone down towards your right heel. Looking up under your right arm. Lengthening through your bottom rib. So your left rib cage is reaching forward. Inhale your right hand towards the sky and then lengthen that left hand down to the inside of your left leg. Press through the ball of your left foot, lifting up on that left quad. Begin to straighten that left leg, coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Spine is still long. You can gaze up to that right hand. Exhale, looking down towards your left foot. Inhale, warrior two. Holding here. Inhale, straightening through your left leg, hands to your hips, and parallel your feet to each other. From here, we're going to heel toe our feet just slightly wider than hips distance apart, toes pointing out just slightly. Inhale here and exhale, hips sink straight down into Malasana, garland pose. Hands can come to your heart, elbows come just into our knees, and then see if you can parallel your feet. Breathing here. If you have any knee issues, I would recommend keeping your hips above your knee. You can come into a goddess pose instead. So whichever one you're in, breathing here. Weight is pressed evenly through your feet, spine's long, so reaching your sits bones down, broadening across your collarbones, the crown of your head reaches up. From here, we're going to extend our right leg, or right hand, to the inside of our right leg, and then extend your left leg, left arm, behind you. You can look up at that right hand, but you're trying to keep your weight even in your feet, so you don't want to lean way over to the right as you do this. Spine is still long, twisting through your thoracic spine. One more breath. And exhale, back to center. Other side, extending your left hand down towards the floor, right hand up towards the sky. Spine is long, pressing down through your feet. Breathing here. Exhale, hands back to the center. Release your hands to the floor, lifting your hips up for a forward fold, legs slightly wider than hips distance. Weight comes a little more forward into the balls of your feet. And you can interlace your pace fingers around your big toes, elbows out to the side. Think of that gently guiding the crown of your head down towards the floor. Knees can be bent here as much as they need to be. Shoulders moving away from your ears. hands to your hips. Inhale, stand up nice and tall. Heel toe your feet back together and come up to the top of your mat. Feet hips distance apart. Hands by your side. Tadasana mountain pose. Pressing down evenly through all four corners of your feet, lifting up on your quadriceps, lengthening your tailbone, broadening across your collarbone. Take a breath here. Inhale, arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hips sink back, Utkatasana chair pose. Lifting your front hip points away from your thigh bones, spine's neutral. Sink down a little deeper. One more breath here. Outer hips hugging in. Outer upper arms wrapping in. Arms are straight. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Stepping back, you can flow through your vinyasa, so your chaturanga and your back bend, or just step back and meet in downward facing dog. You pick. Taking a breath here. We're going to lift our left leg up and back behind us, three-legged dog. Right to hip height, so our hips are square with the floor. Thinking of squeezing your inner thighs together, outer hips hugging in. Inhale here, exhale, stepping that left foot to the inside of your left thumb. And then everybody go ahead and place your right knee to the floor, uncurl your right toes. If you need a little extra padding under that knee, you can roll up your mat, or maybe if you have a blanket or pillow handy, you can use that as well. But fingertips, tuck your fingertips up on the floor so that you can broaden across your collarbone. Even if you can't get your hands flat, let's come up to our fingertips to find that space across our collarbone. And then press the top of that right foot down to the floor. Think of if you can get all 5 toes in contact with the floor. And then gently allow your hips to fall forward as you lift up on that right quadricep so that you're stretching gently through that right hip flexor. Outer hips hugging in so that we're not falling out to one side or the other. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back. Hips come back over that right knee. And then flexing your left foot. So we're now getting a stretch through the back of our left leg. Collarbone is still broad here, spine's long. Outer hips hugging in still, so that, again, so we're not falling out to one side or the other. Exhale, walking your hands forward, left toes come back down to the floor. We're going to plant our right hand down to the floor, right underneath of our right shoulder. If you have a block and it feels better for you, you can set your hand to the block. But pressing down evenly through that the top of that right foot and then your left leg. Tailbone still lengthening down, thinking of your spine lengthening forward. We're going to slowly peel our left ribs up and away from our left leg. Right hand comes up to the sky. That left hip really still hugging in. You can look up to that left hand. Breathing here. Exhale, unwind, move your block if you had it there. And then stepping back into downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward to the inside of your right thumb. Left foot comes down, or left knee, excuse me, comes down to the floor, uncurling your left toes. So your foot and your knee are about hips distance apart. Outer hips hugging in, pressing the top of that left foot down. Again, trying to think of all 5 toes touching the floor. Tenting up on your fingers here so you can find space across your collarbone and length through your spine. Outer hips hugging in, lifting up on that left quadricep, and then slowly and gently allow your hips to come forward. Really lifting your front hip points up towards your belly button, tailbone lengthening down towards the back of that left knee so that there's space in your low back. We're not overarching there. One more breath here. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back so your hips come back over that left knee, and then pick your right toes up off the floor. Still keeping your spine long, collarbone brought in, outer hips hugging in, lifting up on your quads. One more breath here. Exhale, walking your hands back forward. From here, again, if you have that block, you can use it. Otherwise, you can stay up on the fingertips of that left hand. But we're going to really think of hugging our outer hips in, pressing down through all four corners of that right foot. And then slowly, let's put our hand to our hip first this time. Slowly think of just your rib cage peeling up and away from that right leg so that we're still lengthening the crown of our head forward. From there, you can lengthen your right hand up directly over your right shoulder. We don't want it to come way behind us. And then, if it feels comfortable on your neck, meaning it doesn't cause you any pain or anxiety, you can look up at your right fingertips. Pressing down through that outer left hand, shoulder blades moving down your back. Breathing here. Outer hips still really hugging in to stabilize our hips. And exhale, unwind, move that block out of the way, step it back, downward facing dog. One more breath here. The bottom of your exhale, look toward your hands, walk, step, or float your feet up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms forward and up, hips sink back, Utkatasana, chair pose. Feet are parallel to each other. Hip points lifting away from your thigh bones. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale here, exhale, twisting to the right. See if you can feel if your hips stayed in line with each other, knees stayed in line with each other, so you didn't just allow that knee to come way forward of your right knee. Still broadening across your collarbones, spine nice and long. Inhale back to center. And exhale, twisting to the left. Spine long. Again, seeing if you can feel that your knees are still in line with each other. Inhale back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Let's step our left leg all the way back behind us. So we're in a low lunge. So feet are hips distance apart but spread out. Outer hips hugging in. Start by pressing that left thigh up into that thigh bone, so up towards the sky, making that back leg nice and straight. Exhale here. Inhale, arms come forward and up, putting a little micro bend in that back knee, lengthening our low back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale here and exhale, twisting to our right, keeping our outer hips hugging in. From here, thinking of hinging forward so that our elbow comes to our right knee, wherever it lands. So not, using it to twist our spine any further, but the work is coming from our core. Pressing that left thigh up, outer hips hugging in. One more breath here. Inhale, standing back up. Exhale here. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Stepping that left leg up. We'll pause here for a moment in our forward fold. One more breath. And exhale, stepping our right leg way back behind us, coming into a low lunge. So checking on your feet here before you come up, pressing down through all four corners of this left foot, right thigh, pressing up Outer hips hugging in. On your next inhale, arms come forward and up. High lunge, Anjaneyasana, placing a little bend in that back knee. See if you can bend that front knee so it's right over top of that ankle. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale here, and exhale, twisting to your left. Outer hips really hugging in, pressing down through that left foot. And on your next exhale, hinging forward, bringing that right elbow to your left knee wherever it lands. Pressing that right thigh up. You can look up over that left shoulder. Whoop. Sometimes you fall, that's okay. Breathing here. Inhale, back up, keeping our twist. Exhale here, inhale, unwind. Exhale, hands back down to the floor. Stepping your right foot up and forward fold. One more breath here. Go ahead and slowly bend your knees and roll up to stand. All right, so from here, let's put our hands on our hips. We're going to step, starting with our feet hips distance apart, we're going to step our left leg about 3 feet back behind us so that our left heel can be down into contact with the floor. Your toes are probably going to point a little bit up towards like the left. So pressing down to the outer edge of that left leg, lifting up on our left quad. Hip points are even with each other, so we're not letting our right hip drop out. Hands to your hips, lifting up on your quads. Inhale here, exhale, hinge forward. You can keep your hands to your hips. Outer hips still really have to hug in here. Pressing down to the ball of your right foot as you gently pull that right hip crease back. Crown of your head and all 4 sides of your rib cage reaching forward. One more breath here. Exhale. Come all the way up to stand. Go ahead, step your left foot in. We're going to do the same thing on the right. So stepping our right foot back behind us, about 3 feet, so that your whole right foot can come in contact with the floor. It's probably going to point slightly out towards the right side of your mat. Pressing down to the outer edge of your right foot, lifting up through the right quad. Pressing down through the ball of your left foot, stand up nice and tall, and hands on your hips. Exhale, hinging forward from your hip creases. Gently pressing down through the ball of your left foot as that left hip crease reaches back. Crown of your head reaching forward. Spine's long. Breathing here. Exhale here. Inhale. Coming back up to stand. Stepping your right foot forward to meet the left. All right, so next step. If you have your block handy or block-like object, step stool, tissue box, book, any of the above, you're going to place it to the inside of your right foot. So feet hips distance apart, hands on your hips. We're going to step our right foot or left foot to that same position. So about 3 feet back behind your right, whole foot down to the floor so that your toes are pointing out to the right. Really lifting up on that quadricep, pressing down to the outer edge of that back foot. Inhale, stand up nice and tall, and exhale, hinging forward from your hips. We're going to keep our right hand to our right hip, placing our left hand
down to that block on whatever height feels comfortable for you. If you don't have a block, you can gently place it to your thigh, as long as you're careful not to hyperextend this leg. So make sure you're pressing your calf forward into your shin. Reaching the crown of your head forward, just like we did when we were in our low lunge. So press down through the ball of that right foot as your right hip crease pulls back. Pressing down through this left hand. We're going to slowly, with our gaze still down at the floor, begin to lift our right rib cage up and away, keeping our outer hips hugging in, keeping our feet pressing down. And then maybe that right hand reaches up. And again, keeping the crown of your head reaching forward, pressing down through your feet. Maybe you can look up to that top hand. Breathing here. Lifting up through your quads. Go ahead, look back down towards that left hand. Right hand comes to your hips, unwind. Left hand to your hip, pressing through your feet. Inhale, stand up. Left foot comes forward to meet the right. Take a deep breath. So a lot of times we know where we're going and we want to just kind of flow there. I try to go step by step by step so that we can really find the muscle engagement, so that we can keep everything contained and not overstretch and potentially injure ourselves. So even if you know where we're going, try and think of the muscle engagement and think of it step by step. Okay, hands back on your hips, feet hips distance apart, block comes to the inside of your left foot. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to step our right foot about 3 feet back, toes pointing up to the right, top corner of our mat. Lifting up on your quadriceps. Inhale here, exhale, hinging forward from your hip bones. So crown of your head's reaching forward, pressing through the ball of that left foot as your left hip crease pulls back. We're going to place that right hand down to our block on whatever height feels right. Crown of our head reaches forward, spine's nice and long here. Quads are engaged, outer hips really hugging in. From here, we're going to slowly begin to peel our left rib cage up and away. Keeping our gaze down at the floor at first. Then again, checking our feet, so pressing down through our feet, lifting up through our quads. Maybe we can lift that right hand up. And again, final step, still finding that muscle engagement. You can gaze up towards that top hand. Breathing here. One more breath. Exhale. Release your right hand down. Left hand, sorry. Unwind. Hands to your hips. Come up, stand. And then step your left foot forward to Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend in your knees. Go ahead, clasp opposite elbows. Gently sway from side to side, releasing your low back. Release your hands. Then go ahead and just cross at your ankles and come down to a seat. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together for Baddha Konasana. Sitting up nice and tall. So if you're finding that your low back is rounding under, you can roll up your mat or sit on a pillow or blanket. I'm going to go ahead and sit up on my block. A lot of us are really tight through our hip flexors and through our hips. From sitting at desks, jogging, riding bikes, all those things. Sitting up nice and tall. And then exhale, hinging forward again from your hips. So not just rounding in your spine, but thinking of lifting up and hinging forward.
Breathing here. One more breath. Go ahead and inhale, sit back up. Use your hands to bring your knees back together. Come off your block if you were sitting on one. We're gonna come down to our backs. So feet press flat to the floor. Same thing we did in the warm-up, but we're not gonna do it with our breath, like dynamically with our breath this time. Setu Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Pressing down through your feet, parallel to each other. Go ahead, clasp your hands to the outer edge of your mat and think of wrapping your triceps under you. Exhale here, inhale, hips lift. Lengthening your tailbone towards the back of your knees, inner thighs wrapping down towards the floor, pressing down through your feet, down through the backs of your arms, maintaining space between your chin and your chest like you had a grapefruit there. Broadening across your collarbone, lifting your low ribs away from your sacrum, shoulder blades moving forward into your rib cage, breathing here. And exhale, lower back down. We're gonna do that 2 more times. You can stay with that first option, or exhale here, inhale, pressing through your feet, lifting your hips up. You can interlace your hands, walking your shoulders and arms under, pressing down to the backs of your arms just as much as you press into your feet. So lift your hips up. One more breath here. Unclasp your hands, walking your arms out, gently lower your hips back down. Last time. Exhale here, inhale, press through your feet, lifting your hips up, tailbone lengthening, clasping your hands, walking your shoulders under. Really thinking of your outer hips hugging in, thighs wrapping down towards the floor. One more breath. Releasing your hands, slowly lowering your hips. Keeping your left foot down to the floor, let's cross our right ankle over our left knee. And stay here for just a moment, so don't bring your knees in toward your chest just yet. But you can gently use that right hand to press open your right knee. Your next inhale, if you need a little bit more, you can bring that left knee in toward your left shoulder, interlacing your hands behind your hamstrings or maybe up and over your shin. One more breath. Release that left leg down towards the floor. Uncross your right. And then cross your left over your right knee. Again, pausing here before we hug that right knee in. So gently using that left hand to press open that thigh, keeping your left foot flexed. And then inhale your right knee in towards your right shoulder, interlacing your hands behind your hamstrings, maybe up and over your shin. exhale, release your right foot back down to the floor, uncross your left. And then with your feet, go ahead and widen them to about match distance apart. Hands come out to your goalpost arms again, and then allow your knees to come over to the left. So it's not like really a spinal twist, it's more of a stretch through your hips. So your feet and knees stay wide. One more breath. Knees back up through center. And exhale, bringing them over to the right. Again, feet staying wide, so it's more of a stretch through our hips than it is a twist through our spine. Inhaling your knees back up through center. And then making your way into Shavasana, final relaxation pose. So you can extend your legs down the mat if that feels right. Otherwise, if you have any tension in your low back, you can keep your knees bent. But allow yourself to take up space on your mat. Allow your body to feel heavy. And close your eyes, or if that doesn't feel good, maybe just softening your gaze. Allow your breathing to be natural. Spend a few moments here just intentionally trying to clear our minds. You can stay here in Shavasana as long as you'd like. When you're ready, just slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Invite movement back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Hug your knees into your chest. And gently roll over to one side. And press yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your practice. Namaste. Thank you all very much. Again, my name is Joella with UMBC Rec. Thanks so much.